everybody, and welcome to another episode of Connect the Knox. I'm your host, Julia Hurley, connecting Knoxville to the nation. Today's guest is one of my all-time favorite people in the city of Knoxville as a whole, Miss Kim Bumpas, or Mrs. Kim Bumpas, who runs Visit Knoxville. And when I met Kim, we were in regional leadership together. And if your state or area doesn't have a leadership, each one of our counties in our area has their own county leadership, and you must have graduated to move on to regional. So class of 2015, best class ever. And she was in that class with me. I learned a lot about Knoxville. And as I have grown to know Kim, she has grown Visit Knoxville into one of the most sought after visit name city in the country. And we actually have one of the most prolific training systems for that across the country. And Knoxville was part of that starting growth. So Kim, say hello to the nation and tell us a little bit about Knoxville, Visit Knoxville, how you ended up here.
Definitely. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. Yeah, so I am a West Tennessee native, crazy enough. And I came to Knoxville to go to the University of Tennessee. And back when I was in school, we didn't have like a hospitality and tourism major. So I majored in marketing with a minor in psychology. And lucky enough, my parents said, you know what, you got to start paying your own bills the senior year of college. So I started working at the Holiday Inn Cedar Bluff here in Knoxville, Tennessee, my senior year of college. And that's what introduced me to tourism. And you know, I just fell in love with it, and I learned really fast. If you worked hard, you could move up. And by the time I graduated from college, I was the front desk manager at the Holiday Inn Cedar Bluff. And so then I thought, you know what, what's the next steps for me? And I interviewed and got a director of sales position at the Holiday Inn downtown. This is pre-convention center. So we're way back. I'm dating myself now. We're like 30 years ago. So crazy enough. And, you know, I worked there for a couple of years, and then we had a Hyatt Regency that set up on the hill that was beautiful.
Triangle Hotel.
Yep.
Is that, yep. Okay.
Concrete hotel that is no longer a hotel. So I went to Hyatt, worked there right under 4 years, and then transitioned to the Convention and Visitors Bureau. So back in 2001, this organization was called the Knoxville Convention and Visitors Bureau. Right after I started there, and the reason I went there is because I love Knoxville, and Hyatt was leaving Knoxville. So they wanted me to leave with them. And this was my home. And I was, you know, dating my now husband at that time. And I thought, you know what better thing than to sell to my city, you know, my destination to the world. And so I was with the CVB for about 11 months before there was a takeover by the Sports Corporation. And they kind of merged the two entities, got rid of a lot of people, but luckily I was there to stay. And so we became the Knoxville Tourism and Sports Corporation. While we were KTSC, I moved up the ranks to, you know, director of sales, because I started as a sales manager. And so then I was director of sales, and I was director of sales and marketing. Then I was VP, and, you know, as the world turns, so to speak. And during that 10 years, I really, really engaged in what made Knoxville so special. And so when 2011, 2012 came about, and there was an opportunity that someone needed to step up and change the vision, change the voice of how you tell the story of why you should visit Knoxville, I was ready to do that. And in 2012, I took the organization through an RFI to an RFP to everything you could imagine to rebirth it as Visit Knoxville and tell the story differently, bring on an agency. And now we're one of the most robust standalone 501c3 nonprofits in the tourism space. And so it's been a wild ride. Last year, we just signed on for another 10 years with the city and the county. So we're doing all right, if that was kind of my intro of how I came to be.
Yeah, just a short time span of 2 decades. Short time span.
Dating myself just a little.
Well, I don't even know if people in Knoxville know that used to be a completely separate department. I remember the debate about bringing the convention center in, but I was in college when that was happening, and I went to Maryville College, so it was a study for us because Ruby Tuesdays was on our campus, so we got to study that side of the industry and the tourism department that was going on in Knoxville. Do you want a convention center? Don't you want a convention center? What's happening here? We studied that, but we didn't really experience it, and so even I did not know that was part of the convention center at the beginning. So that is something to know. And you've been, so this entire time, not only have you had that, but you've had the Sunsphere in your backyard for every job. You have. Yeah. So tell us about the Sunsphere projects that you've had over that time, because it's changed a lot with Visit Knoxville.
Definitely. So the Sunsphere, last year celebrated its 40th anniversary because it was the 40th anniversary of the 1982 World's Fair. And a lot of people maybe don't realize this, and I'm always surprised that they don't, but the Sunsphere is Knoxville's Eiffel Tower. It is Knoxville's Seattle Space Needle. Both are structures that were built for World's Fairs, just like the Sunsphere was. So we, as Visit Knoxville, the CVB, the city, the county, we've been telling the story of the Sunsphere for a long time, but in a really different way. And what I mean by that is, since the Sunsphere was built back in 1982, it was basically open for free. It didn't really tell you a whole bunch when you got up there, but you could go up there, right, and walk around in a circle and kind of see out the windows. Well, as Visit Knoxville, about 10 years ago, we kind of renovated the observation deck, but still let it run for free. So I'm really excited to say, fast forward to right now. We reopened the observation deck after COVID on February 22nd of 2022, and we did it where you would have to pay a nominal fee of $5 per adult to get up to the Sunsphere observation deck, and that would go into a restricted Sunsphere fund. Well, since we've did that, we've now welcomed over 79,000 visitors representing all 50 states and 50 countries. And we literally just announced, hot off the press, that we are going to be painting the structure back to its original blue Pantone color in October before the end of the year. And then we're opening a visitor center at the base of the Sunsphere next year. So really exciting stuff. And as Visit Knoxville, I'm really, really happy and pleased that we've finally gotten here. This has been a labor of love that I've been working on for about 10 years and really had momentum to probably do this in 2019, 2020. And then COVID happened and we ended up shutting the whole structure down for quite a bit of period of time. And then, our mayors changed. She kind of had to start the whole conversation over again. And now we're here. And I'm really happy that it's happening. It's a big deal. And as someone who's a Knoxvillian, even if I don't work at Visit Knoxville, I'll be happy to say I played a role in making this part happen.
I lived in the old city in 2003. And so I've watched downtown Knoxville catapult and then fail, and then catapult and then fail, and then catapult and then fail. And I feel like over just the last 10 years, it's been on a correct, slow movement trajectory. Not this, oh my God, we have to pour a ton of money into it and then it just fails. You all have, and I mean that, I don't say we as Knoxville, your organization in the last decade has very methodically moved Knoxville in a different direction, slowly as it should be. And we're finally starting to see the growth and the attractiveness and what Knoxville, we all knew because we were all from here, what Knoxville had to offer this whole time. How are you looking back on that and saying, okay, so over the last decade, we're doing it. We're pushing that boulder up the hill. We've still got a little bit of a mountain to climb. Knoxville's really and truly, in my opinion, from the real estate side, just now booming. So we've got another decade to pull up that hill before we can safely say we've reached the pinnacle. Where do you see that going for Visit Knoxville and the Sports Authority in the next decade?
Oh, I think the sky's the limit right now. I have watched us grow up over the last 20 years. And as Visit Knoxville, in the last 10, we have finally put Knoxville on the map as a premier getaway destination. We're out there competing for that leisure traveler that used to just go to Asheville for the weekend. Well, now they're coming to Knoxville for the weekend because we have all of the experiences that now deliver on that expectation. And a gift of COVID, maybe, not that I would ever say COVID was a terrible thing, but there were a few things that spun out of it that were good for business in the relation of tourism, because everyone got shut down. But Knoxville, we have so many outdoor friendly activities that you can engage in that when everything opened back up and it was safe to travel again, Knoxville was top of mind because we never went silent during COVID. We always were telling the story of why you should visit Knoxville when the time was right. And what happened is our hotels were able to regroup. And when we started to open back up, we started driving rate. And, I know people say, oh, I wish that was free. And I wish we could do this for free. But, a lot of time visitors, and think about yourself as a visitor when you travel. Sometimes people don't really value free. They think, where's the catch? Or maybe that's not the experience that I want. I'd rather go do something where I had to invest this level of monetary value so that I receive that type of, reward back to me when I'm done with it. And that's really where Knoxville is. We're driving rate. The hotels are delivering on that expectation. The restaurants, we have a phenomenal amount of restaurants and James Beard winning chefs in Knoxville, Tennessee that people don't realize. Our attractions, they're bringing it. We have the family friendly with Navitat to the Hall of Fame to the zoo, but then you also have all of these historic homes that tell the rich history that Knoxville, Tennessee carries for everyone. We have an opera, we have a symphony, we have so many things. And that's kind of like the secret. Everyone's like, what is Knoxville's one big thing? Well, Knoxville's one big thing is we have a little bit of everything that really, really engages that leisure traveler. And then you take that and you put it on top of the base we already had with conventions and sporting events. Well, you just have a well-oiled machine now, and everyone's delivering on the experience. So one of the big things we see right now is repeat visitation, because if you come here for that 2 to 4 night stay, you can't get it all done. So you're booking a second trip, because we're also a very, economical value trip as well, even though we're driving rate. And, you can't come to Knoxville anymore for that $80 a night. That's not going to happen. We're pushing $150 on a weekday. We're over $300 on the weekends. But you know what? You're getting a great value for your investment. And that's the story we're telling. And it's a great place to be, but we've worked really hard to get here.
We all know that real estate is location, location, location.
Our team at Just Homes Group has the true expertise, pairing buyers and sellers with the right opportunities.
Whether you're looking to buy or sell a home right here in Knoxville,
Lenoir City, Clinton, or Farragut, we have the expertise throughout every Knoxville surrounding area. Call Just Homes Group.
So, just personally, my first family's of Tennessee. My family founded the state. We've been here forever and ever and ever. And as I travel all over the country coaching real estate and coaching scripting and all the things that I do on top of the sales just in the Knoxville market. I can't keep up with the growth. I am having a hard time, like, oh my God, I missed that ribbon cutting. Oh, that's new. We've got to go there. And now I've got a running list of got to go here, got to try that, I have to now know in the know and visit Knoxville's website every week and be like, oh, I missed these openings. This is new. This is coming up. What is the conversation like for, let's say, somebody who's not from here, who doesn't know what's going on? What would be your biggest recommendation of a starter pack? This is your starter Knoxville, say mom, dad, 2 kids, and a dog.
Dog is a big deal. That's a whole nother thing that came out of COVID is people want to travel with their animals now. And so one thing you'll be seeing us launch very soon is a dogumentary. And it's going to tell this story. It's going to tell the story of why you should visit Knoxville through a dog's point of view. And it's going to be quite fantastic. If you're a dog lover, you're going to love it. And we're not just all dogs. I mean, we'll welcome other animals too, but it is a big deal. And to kind of do that starter pack, we really have something to offer in every area of town. But what I think does appeal to visitors a lot of times is that downtown setting and the fact that you can drive into Knoxville, Tennessee, you can get into your hotel room, and then you literally might never touch your car again because we have so many dog-friendly patios for your dining and all of those experiences. Nightlife still has dog-friendly. We have all of these dog parks throughout the entire county. But you know what? You can drive in, get in your hotel. Then you can walk down to the riverfront. You can rent a stand-up paddleboard if you've left your dog.
I've seen some people take their dogs on the paddleboards. You never know.
And some of them, my dog, not a candidate, not a candidate. But if you've got that well-trained dog that can jump up on the paddleboard, then you can paddle down to IAMS, get out there. You can rent a mountain bike, go mountain biking, come back to your paddleboard, come back to downtown, go out to eat, go out to nightlife, check out a few attractions, all without ever touching your car. And that is a big deal to a lot of visitors. But then we also have the outskirts. You can drive into West Knoxville. You can go to the Farragut Folklife Museum. There's all kinds of activities in that part of town. South is growing with all Baker Creek, Devil's Racetrack, North has amazing concepts too. And now with the new multi-purpose stadium, East Knoxville is booming. So that's a little bit more than just your starter pack. But I definitely want to hit all the areas because really it's up to the visitor. What drives them? What is the activity that they want? And then they can build everything around that at visitknoxville.com. It's there's just so much to do.
There's so few places that I have visited. And we visited everywhere that has the word visit in front of it. Visit Seattle, visit Houston, we did the visit Asheville. We try to go and as a group, as a family, sometimes it's just Joe and I, sometimes we take the kids, sometimes we take the dog and kind of see what other areas have to offer on the coaching trips that I have. And Visit Knoxville still hands down, and I am trying hard not to be biased when I compare it, but still Visit Knoxville hands down has the most diverse ability to offer all things regardless of the trip. And I think that's something that a lot of people in the nation don't understand when they come here to visit, to make that package deal. How close we are to Dollywood and the Great Smoky Mountains. And you don't even have to do those things. Like you said, you can stay in Knoxville and do all the outdoor events and the affordability of everything. How has that changed in the last 20 years? And where is it going?
Oh, it's night and day from the last 20 years. We've had record tourism numbers. 2019 was a great year for Knoxville, Tennessee. And I think 2020 was going to be awesome. But then COVID happened. And ever since we've come out of COVID, 21 was a great rebound from 19. But then 22 was record highs, like the highest numbers in tourism in the history of Knoxville. And 23 is beating 22. So, there's no point in the way I look at things. I don't ever really look back like we're destroying the past, but our destination's grown and we have so much more to offer. So I always look forward and where is that taking us? And like I said, the sky truly is the limit right now. Like we don't even know what we don't know until we know it. And that is truly happening because let's think about this. We have a multi-purpose stadium with what will now be called the Knoxville Smokies and the One Knox Soccer Club converging in 2025, which is going to bring all kinds of new development around that space. And that's going to be exciting. We have new hotels that are still popping up downtown as I speak. And South Knoxville, we have just scratched the surface on what the urban wilderness is truly going to grow into. It has a great base, but it's not even close to done. And so I think as you take all of that and then like the excitement's just getting ahead of me, but if you take all of that and you put it with the messaging and how Visit Knoxville is marketing this destination and telling the story of why you should visit Knoxville, it's just going to mean increased tourism numbers, which when tourists come to your destination, you need to celebrate that, especially in a sales tax driven state like the state of Tennessee, because all of those people are visiting us from all over the world. They're spending their money and they're going back home. So all of that money can go into, enhancing the resources for all of us that live here. And that is a big deal. And that's why tourism is the number 2 industry in the state of Tennessee. And Knoxville is holding its own as a county. We are the 4th driving county in this state, only behind Memphis and Nashville and Sevier. So it's a big deal. And telling the story of East Tennessee, I truly believe, means telling the story of the state, because the way we market the state is the soundtrack of America, made in Tennessee. Well, that soundtrack has music, scenic beauty, and history. Well, where do you find all 3 of those? And the one caveat there is scenic beauty. And obviously music was implied. So, I think that's why East Tennessee helps drive that message. And as Visit Knoxville, I have a passion. I'm competitive to a fault. And, I want us to be the best. And there's so many more things that we'll be announcing in the coming months. But, the Sunsphere truly shows you how we're collecting the data and how we're telling that story.
I can't believe that. I mean, I can believe it, but I can't believe when you said that many people had visited. I was like, what? Really? And I say that with surprise, because whenever we go downtown, it's still, it used to be a 15-minute drive, but in all fairness, it's a 30-minute drive. It's a 30-minute drive from where we are, one county over, and I'm like way over in one county. It's a 30-minute drive. I still don't feel overwhelmed. I can still get into a restaurant with a 15-minute wait on a Saturday night. And we have so many people visiting that it still seems so intimate and accessible and affordable and conversational and local. I still run into people that I went to college with. I won't say how long, 25 years ago. 25 years ago. And we still see each other at the tailgates. We still see each other at Calhoun's. Everywhere you go, you see someone local that you've met previously before or knew. And yet we have a million people visiting basically a month and saying, hey, Knoxville's my place. And I still feel like I can go anywhere that I need to go quickly. And that is the gift I think that Knoxville brings to the table, and the associations where you don't feel like you're at Disney. I guess you're just packed in for an experience. It's still an open experience because there's so much to have that it's spread out. It's a big, small town. So this episode will probably air in about 3 months, right? So we have about 6 that we've done. And I'm going to say that to say this: is there anything that you can tell us might be coming?
I can't tell all the secrets, but we are launching a new film festival in November. Yeah, Film Fest Knox will be November 9th through the 12th, and that will be exciting. I don't know, I may be talking about this a little bit after we've already done it, but it is something that's going to be an annual event. We're partnered with Regal Riviera downtown, so it's a great way to think about why you should visit Knoxville. As Visit Knoxville, the organization, we have the Sports Commission under our umbrella, the Film Office under our umbrella. We have a housing agency. We have 4 tractor trailers with all of the premier sport court, basketball and volleyball systems in the Southeast. So we're very robust, but the film festival, Film Fest Knox, is a way we're going to help tell that story to producers on why you should use Knoxville as your next location. We'll have a new and revised Tour de Lights in December, which will also be fun, which is a lighted bike ride. And that really helps continue to tell the message of how bike friendly we are. We did say farewell to USA Cycling in 2023, and they'll be gone for about 5 years, but we'll hopefully have them back one day. We had them for 7, which was a great run, but we've already announced, and we're excited that we'll be hosting USA Diving Olympic Trials next June in Knoxville. So I'm excited because that's an inside event in June versus running USA Cycling in the heat. So I'm excited for that reprieve. And, we just have so many more things. And like I said, there'll be more information coming next year about the visitor center build out at the Sunsphere. But there's so many reasons why you should visit Knoxville. And just keep checking out visitknoxville.com, and our event calendar is the most robust in the town. So that's a great way to learn about all the new things.
How do you feel that Knoxville has grown, and how can it grow more in retaining younger talent to stay when they graduate? We have 43 to 48,000 young people that graduate every year or are on campus every year, and they usually leave, and they mostly always come back. They're, well, Knoxville was the best place. I'll come back. How do we keep them here? What are we doing to build out things to retain them as employees? And what are we doing in the future? Because Visit Knoxville, from where we're looking on the outside in, is one of the most future and forward thinking organizations, and more younger people coming in with their big ideas that we embrace. And we're like, that sounds great. Let's go. So what can we do, and what are we doing to embrace younger people to stay and build their futures here?
I think as I can answer that as Visit Knoxville, and I think the big ways that we entice a lot of people to stay is through our internships and through showing them how to volunteer and get connected with the community. I think a lot of people that leave Knoxville when they're young, it's truly because they didn't know how to get the information that inspires them to stay. And because we have everything that they're looking for, they just don't know how to get to that information, and they're misinformed sometimes because we are in the age of information overload, especially for our youth. So they're like, oh, well, Atlanta has everything, but it's only because they didn't look for that in Knoxville. It's here. It just might not be as forward facing sometimes because we do have so much going on. And I do think one of the big things that we focused on through some of our concert partnerships is just enhancing that variety of who we're recruiting and what does that look like, and trying to partner up and tell the story so that an artist didn't come and go from Knoxville and some people didn't know about it. You know what I mean? And I truly think it's just getting that information out there. As far as jobs in the tourism sector, there's plenty of them. But whether that's what, people coming out of college want or not, now we have a whole hospitality and tourism major. So that's exciting. People are really majoring in wanting to learn how to work in a hotel or a restaurant or anything that's hospitality driven. But for me personally, I have a lot of, mentees, so to speak, in Leadership Knoxville and some other things. And I just try to show them the fun. People want to live where they consider it fun. And whether you like it or you don't like it, or you agree with it or you don't, people take their own backyard for granted. They take where they grew up for granted, and they take where they went to college for granted. And the reason they do that is because the grass is always greener on the other side. And then we see they jump over there, and then they're always jumping right back. They're like, it wasn't greener over there. And so I just try to go ahead and open their eyes to that and say, you know what? Sometimes you do have to experience for yourself to understand. But if you don't want to do it the hard way, then just go right here and look and engage and go to Volunteer East Tennessee. Volunteer for these events, and you'll see what Knoxville has to offer, and you will see how awesome Knoxville truly is. I mean, that's the gift of my job. I get to be reminded how awesome Knoxville is every single day because I look at Knoxville from the eyes of a visitor. And from the eyes of the visitor, Knoxville has everything that you need right here. So the folks that are here right now, you need to hunker down and stay because, one day somebody's going to bounce and want to bounce back, and there's nothing there for them to get into. So, if you're at UT right now, there's a reason to stay. There truly is.
Where can people find information on internships and volunteer opportunities?
Go 100% to visitknoxville.com, go to About Us, and then you'll figure out everything you need to know, how to volunteer, how to engage, if Visit Knoxville has any job openings, and then I'll also give you other resources. I also think, checking out what the Knoxville Chamber has to offer is also a good resource. And then, if you're in school and you're listening to this, engage with your advisors and your teachers. They know how to find us. And, I'm pretty sure all you have to do is Google my name and you can get my email and cell phone number quite easily. So feel free.
And everybody in the nation that's listening, where's the best place for them to start looking at Knoxville for vacations?
Visitknoxville.com. 100%. You can even build your itinerary right there.
Oh, that's exciting. I'm going to fake do that and just see what it tells me to do that I haven't already done. That might be the best place for me to go to.
Definitely.
Well, we've actually hit our time limit and we didn't even get to the fire round. We'll have to do another episode and just base it on you and everything else that's going on. Kim, thank you for taking your time today. Thank you for teaching us all about Visit Knoxville. Everybody in the nation, if you have not visited Knoxville, Tennessee, you are missing out because it's the only 10 you'll see. Every time. Crack myself up with that joke. Kim, thank you again. I appreciate you so much. Thank you very much. Everybody, thank you so much for visiting. You've listened to another episode of Connect the Knox. I'm your host, Julia Hurley, and today's guest was Kim Bumpas of Visit Knoxville. Thank you.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you for tuning into the show. Make sure to like and subscribe. Leave a 5-star review on your podcast player of choice. And if you would like information on moving to Knoxville, send me a private message. As always, this is Julia Hurley connecting Knoxville to the nation.